Is it possible for a single K-pop idol to contribute more than half of the media impact value of a legendary American fashion house without uploading a single promotional post on his personal account? The question sounds like fan hyperbole, but when a Canadian journalist known for being sharp and skeptical presents concrete data and states the numbers plainly, the narrative shifts into something far more serious. When Lainey Lui wrote that Jungkook's latest campaign engagement figures were easily triple compared to the brand's runway show, the discussion was no longer merely about popularity, but about tangible economic power. And when Launchmetrics reported that out of a total media impact value of $57.4 million, more than $30.4 million, or 53%, was attributed to the same name, the question grew sharper. Has Jungkook truly become a money-making engine for Calvin Klein? Lainey's piece in Lainey Gossip on February 25, 2026 was not simply fandom praise. She dissected the phenomenon from an industry perspective. In her article, she stated that Jungkook's latest campaign with Calvin Klein generated engagement far surpassing their runway presentation. Jungkook's new CK campaign dropped this week, and if we're measuring its popularity by likes and views, his numbers are easily triple, she wrote. The sentence was simple, yet its implications were expansive. In a fashion world that for decades has glorified runway exclusivity as the center of artistic legitimacy, impact is now increasingly measured by likes, views, and waves of global virality. Even more striking, Lainey implicitly pointed out a fact rarely discussed openly. Runway collections are not the primary revenue driver. Denim sells. And in the 90s-inspired denim campaign released on February 24, 2026, Jungkook appeared in baggy, relaxed, and straight-cut jeans that revived American pop culture nostalgia. Alongside Rosie Perez, a New York icon of the 90s era, the campaign visuals represented not merely aesthetics, but the meeting of two eras and two cultures. Lainey even acknowledged that 2 decades ago, it would have been nearly impossible to imagine a Korean pop star becoming the global face of an iconic American brand. Now, the once impossible has become mainstream. Launchmetrics data for New York Fashion Week further reinforced the narrative. Calvin Klein's total MIV reached $57.4 million, with $30.4 million of that impact attributed to Jungkook. The figure surpassed contributions from other ambassadors such as Lily Collins with $8.6 million, Rosalia with $6.5 million, and Emily Ratajkowski with $4.9 million. This was not merely a comparison of popularity, but an indicator of how one figure could dominate cross-platform global conversation. What made it even more dramatic was the fact that Jungkook did not post anything about Fashion Week on his personal account. The impact emerged purely from media coverage, virality, and echo mentions spreading like a digital domino effect. This phenomenon forces the industry to reconsider long-standing paradigms of celebrity influence. For years, brands relied on a combination of runway prestige and Western celebrity endorsement to maintain an aura of exclusivity. Yet under the creative direction of Veronica Leoni, Calvin Klein demonstrated how pop cultural heritage could be amplified by a global figure whose resonance transcends geography. Jungkook is not merely a representation of K-pop. He symbolizes the globalization of taste, where digital fandom can reshape economic power structures. The reaction on social media exploded. On X, accounts such as @DailyJpraise and @LovelyPisces0 shared Lainey's quotes and Launchmetrics data, sparking intense discussions about Jungkook's impact. Some fans speculated, if the effect is this massive without personal promotion, what would happen if he actively pushed the campaign himself? The question created a natural layer of clickbait that was difficult to ignore. It was no longer just about who is the most popular, but about untapped potential power. From the academic perspective of the attention economy, this moment reflects a fundamental shift. Value is no longer determined solely by the physical exclusivity of a show, but by the capacity to generate global-scale digital conversation. Jungkook stands at the intersection of fandom culture and fashion capitalism. He exemplifies how a strategically aligned ambassador can transform performance outcomes on a massive scale, even without direct intervention through personal channels. What makes the narrative even more emotional is the broader context. Preparations for BTS's comeback with the upcoming album Erarang. This fashion momentum feels like a prologue to the next chapter of their global dominance. If a single member alone can contribute more than half of the media impact of a brand as large as Calvin Klein, what might happen when the entire group reunites? Is this merely a fleeting viral phase, or proof that the global fashion industry is genuinely shifting eastward? Are we witnessing a permanent transformation in how brands build value? Or is this a rare moment when one name, one face, and one wave of digital fandom converge to create an unexpected economic storm? When Lainey Lui, known for not being easily impressed, openly acknowledged the scale of the impact, those questions became increasingly difficult to dismiss. Amid the flash of runway cameras and rows of front-row celebrities, perhaps the real answer lies in a number that cannot be disputed: 53%. A simple figure, yet one carrying enormous implications. If this trend continues, history may record that in one season at New York Fashion Week, the magnate of a K-pop group did more than capture attention. He shifted the center of gravity of the global fashion industry. That 53% figure is not merely a statistic scrolling past on a timeline, but a signal of a structural shift in an industry that for decades has been dominated by Western faces and narratives. When Lainey Lui emphasized that Jungkook's campaign engagement was triple that of the runway, she was in fact underlining a transition from symbolic value to digital distribution value. The runway remains important as a stage of creative legitimacy, but real capital is now generated through mass conversation pulsing across the screens of millions of smartphones. Under the creative leadership of Veronica Leoni, Calvin Klein has sought to revive the pop culture heritage that once formed the brand's DNA. What proved unexpected, however, was how that legacy found a new accelerator through a global figure like Jungkook. He is not merely the face of a campaign, he functions as a medium of meaning distribution. Every 90s-inspired denim image he wears becomes an entry point for a new generation to reinterpret the brand's identity. Nostalgia meets globalization, and the result is an explosion of attention measurable in millions of dollars in media impact value. This phenomenon also opens a broader discussion about how fandom operates as a collective economic force. BTS's army is not simply a fan community, but a responsive global network attuned to every signal involving its idol. Without a single personal promotional upload, an echo effect still materialized through media coverage and online discourse. In communication theory, this resembles an expanded digital version of the two-step flow model. Mainstream media initiates the narrative, fandom influencers amplify it, and the wave spreads beyond the original target market. Comparisons with other ambassadors such as Lily Collins, Rosalia, and Emily Ratajkowski are not intended to diminish their roles, but to highlight the dramatic contrast in scale. When one figure contributes more than half of the total value, questions about brand strategy become unavoidable. Is this coincidence or proof that selecting an ambassador who aligns culturally and emotionally can radically reshape performance outcomes? At the same time, there is an emotional dimension that cannot be ignored. For many fans, recognition from a Western journalist like Lainey feels like historic validation. Her remark about how unimaginable it would have been 2 decades ago for a Korean star to lead a global campaign resonates as a reminder of the long journey of Asian representation on the world stage. What was once considered impossible has now become headline news. Amid all this, the looming comeback of BTS with the album Erarang adds another layer of anticipation. If a single fashion campaign can generate impact on this scale, observers inevitably wonder about the synergistic effect when music, fashion, and collective momentum converge. Are we witnessing a peak, or merely the beginning of a larger phase of dominance? In a world driven by attention, the answer may lie in how long the numbers continue to speak.